It's time for today's travel and cruise industry news. With the latest from travel and cruises around the world, here's your host, Chili Falls.
Hey, good morning and welcome to Travel and Cruise Industry News on this Cinco de Mayo, May the 5th, 2020. Coming to you from a rainy, kind of chilly morning in Bedford County, Virginia, a little town called Forest right outside of Lynchburg. We went from 85 degrees on Sunday to 75 degrees yesterday. It's up 40 this morning or something. It was awful. So as you can tell, I'm back in long sleeves and trying to stay warm. Thank you guys that were here early asking about the tooth extraction yesterday. As you can tell, I'm not a chipmunk this morning. I was expecting to be out to here today. Actually feeling pretty decent. It didn't go as easy as I thought it would yesterday. It was worse than I expected. And of course, you got the usual pain and stuff with having an extraction of a big old molar. But my jaw is extraordinarily sore. Not from the tooth. I mean, yeah, that's if I stick my tongue on the hole, that hurts a little bit. But my jaw itself, I guess, because, one time I had like 4 hands and instruments and a doctor's hat and everything in my mouth. And it's, so my jaw's sore this morning. But other than that, we're hanging in there. If any of you folks are of the Mexican persuasion, happy Cinco de Mayo. This would normally be a day that I would go to my friendly Mexican restaurant that I hang out in a lot when times are better and they let me out of the house. Of course, we're still, because there's 3 of us in this household, and I'm the youngest at 71, we're still sheltering in place, so we're not going out. Yesterday, it was really my first trip out, going to the dentist. Which was approved last week to open up the dental and medical stuff here in Virginia. So normally I'd go out for Mexican tonight. And of course, we can't do that unless we bring it in. Of course, my Mexican restaurant, they do have carry out, and we have done that several times. But some of you will like to go out and have a margarita. That's not me. Matter of fact, the last time I drank tequila, that's the stuff in margaritas. The last time I drank tequila, I ended up in Houston, Texas the next morning married. I drank the tequila in Pittsburgh. That was the problem. So that was an expensive problem to get out of, and I've never drank tequila since. So a little silly this morning. All right, let's get right to it today. A lot happened yesterday. Of course, I was on the ropes. I didn't do much anything yesterday other than lay around and moan. So Carnival came out with this statement, I guess you want to call it, their plan of attack. They rolled out a plan to start North American cruise services this summer, beginning August 1st, with a total of 8 ships from Miami, Port Canaveral, and Galveston. Now, folks, there's a problem with this whole thing, and it just went nuts yesterday. All of the media sources, including the majors, even this morning on was that on Fox or CNN? One of the major news networks, and one of their main stories was Carnival to start sailing again. But the problem is, either they don't know the background or they didn't read the statement completely, because everybody has jumped to conclusions, including a lot of you guys out there that sail like me, have jumped to the conclusion that, oh yeah, this means that we're going to start sailing come August the 1st. And I hate to throw some water on the flames, folks, but that's not the case. Yes, Carnival has a plan. Their plan is to take the 8 ships of their line of, 29 ships they have, I think. They're taking 8 of the ships from the 3 ports, Miami, Port Canaveral, and Galveston. They're cutting back the passenger load. They're cutting about the staff load. And in connection with the plan, the company's pause of operations will be extended on all other North American and Australian markets through the end of August. So, let's look back at the basis of this, folks. Basically, they're doing nothing more than the CDC 100 days without cruises rule, which says the 24th of July. So Carnival's saying, oh, yeah, we're going to start again on the 1st. Now, remember, this is the 4th time that they've moved the operations since the COVID-19 thing started. Yesterday's maneuver, although it was worded a little differently than the other suspension of operations, still, if you read the whole thing, they're not saying a bit more than they've been saying, other than they moved everything now to the August date and further beyond. And I'll tell you why in a minute. Basically, the ships that are involved is the Carnival Dream, Carnival Freedom, and Carnival Vista out of Galveston, the Horizon, the Magic, and the Sensation out of Miami, and the Breeze and the Elation out of Port Canaveral. Now, any of the other ships that sail from the United States and sail in the Caribbean and all that, they're at least until August and further. They've completely canceled out the Alaska portion of their sailing season. And there were some other individual cancellations on through the whole thing. And they do the whole impacted guests and travel advisors will be notified by mail, yada, yada, yada. And they're committed to supporting all public health efforts to manage the COVID-19 situation. The Carnival says in their statement, we are taking a measured approach, focusing our return to service on a select number of home ports where we have more significant operations that are easily accessible by car for the majority of our guests, the company said in a press release. Now, that's real important. They're hoping that people are going to drive to these ships because they know the airlines aren't flying. We still don't have airfare back in this country that they need to have to sell cruises. There is no international flights into this country. You can't fly from Canada to Florida to get on one of these. You can't fly from Europe to Florida to get on one of these ships. It's not allowed, not yet at least. Now, keep in mind also the other reason that this thing, if people had to know the background and read to the end of this statement, which says that they're going to go with whatever the CDC says. The CDC is a lot, that whole thing was a lot more than just the 100 days with no cruises until July 24th. You had the whole issue of if somebody gets sick on board, what they have to do, if they have to take passengers off, that they've got to get them home under private transportation, no public transportation involved. That's why we have all these problems with the cruise ships getting crew members home. They won't let them get off the boats anywhere. Now, there's a couple other major hurdles other than just the airfare, getting the airfare going. We're not over COVID-19 yet, people. The numbers are still going up. Yes, in some areas they've gone over the top and they start coming down. Virginia is one of them. We went over the top several days ago, and that's allowed the governor to open up the state, and he's doing it. Actually, I know the Republicans don't want to agree to it because he's a Democratic governor, but he's using the president's guidelines on how to do it. He's not opening the state for 14 days because you're supposed to have 14 days in a row of numbers going down. All these states that are opening up this week, they haven't had the 14 days of going down. Not all of them. Most of them have not. So if you believe the science of this, we're going to have a spike of incredible amounts of deaths yet and more problems from COVID-19. Now, even the Trump administration has said that come June 1st, they're looking at 3,000 deaths a day. 3,000 deaths a day in another month. So let's say if that's the case, that puts us up until June, and we got 3,000 deaths a day somewhere in June along in there. Do you think Canada is going to say, oh, yeah, well, let's start flying Canadians into the United States when they're still having 3,000 deaths a day? That ain't going to happen. Much less are we going to let other countries come in. Mexico, one of the places that these cruise ships want to stop, Mexico had a big outbreak again this week, and their numbers jumped up. We're not through the first wave of COVID-19, folks. There may be a second and a third wave, but we're not through the first wave yet. We got to get through that before we can ever start cruising again. Before the CDC is going to ever let a cruise ship go. Carnival can say all they want about they're going to sail August 1st. Unless the CDC says, Carnival, you can sail August 1st, it ain't going to happen, people. And Carnival's got to do all that stuff on how they're going to handle passengers coming in. How are they going to handle social distancing on a cruise ship? Are they going to have people wearing masks the whole cruise? We don't know any of that. That's all got to be spelled out and approved by the CDC. All of the cleaning procedures on the cruise ships got to be approved by the CDC. How they embark and disembark passengers got to be approved by the CDC. Not to mention the ports of call. One of the ports of call that a lot of these cruises that they want to start with August 1st, many of those cruises call on Grand Cayman. Now, I've been doing some research on the resorts because it's been said that the resorts may start before the cruise ships. So I've been doing some research on that. Grand Cayman's shut down till November 1st. So they're not going to let cruise ships go in there. Now, who knows what's going to happen with Mexico with this latest outbreak in Mexico? Is that going to slow everything down for Mexico? Who knows about the Bahamas? We've had all these problems in the past of the cruise ships going into other ports of call, and the islands and the ports wouldn't allow people to get off the cruise ship. So where are these cruises going to go on August the 1st? That's all got to be laid out, and that's all got to be approved. And that's not mentioning the most important thing, and the thing that this whole business of getting open is that I think people are rushing it, but that's my opinion, okay? But the thing that's behind it is the economy. All these people say you got to get the economy going again. Okay, people have to buy tickets to get on a cruise ship. Now, they're already trying to do this so people can drive and not have to fly to get there. You know, that's the whole idea behind Carnival's statement, or one of them. We're looking at 30% unemployment in this country right now. And that's going to go up again. What is it, tomorrow or Thursday or one day? It's going to go up again on the amount of unemployment in this country. Look at all the small businesses that have made no money. Yeah, there's been some bailouts for some of them. Some of them are hoping still to get some bailouts. Some of them are hoping to get the stimulus money. It's not, the stimulus money's not out to everybody yet, even. Look at all the businesses that have lost their shirts this year. I mean, I'm a small businessman myself. I have had no income at all. Now, yeah, I'm semi-retired, so and I don't have to run my business. I don't have to have income, but that's personal, my personal situation. But the people that have to buy tickets to get on a cruise ship, how many of them can afford it right now? If you're unemployed and you're sitting at home and you're worried about where the next hamburger helper is going to come from to feed your kids, you're not going to go on a damn cruise ship. Not to mention the numbers of people that won't go on cruise ships anymore because they're absolutely scared to death to get on a boat right now. And I can't say I blame them. You know, open the economy all you want. I still can't go anyplace. We get things going in Virginia on the 14th or whatever it is of this month. They open restaurants. That doesn't mean somebody 71 years old that's worried about being the old folks and we're more susceptible to this. That doesn't mean I can go out in public all of a sudden. Yeah, I can do all the things to make it as safe for me as possible. I can wear my mask. I can try not to infect anybody else should I be infected. But how many people out there are going to give me that same favor? You got people running around that refuse to wear a mask. And we're opening states left and right. And people are doing nothing to protect, you know, the old folks. Yeah. Again, folks, somebody 35 years old, if you get coronavirus, you have more of a chance of not having a bad time with it. But somebody my age, or my sister's age that's 10 years older than I am, if we get it, we could be in trouble. So we've got to be a lot more careful. How many of the people in my age group that like to cruise are worried about how that's going to go on a cruise ship now? How are they going to do this? I haven't heard. Social distancing, I think, is something we got to live with for a while until a vaccine is created and we get rid of this forever. And that's a year away at least. The bottom line, folks, and I'll get off my soapbox. If a ship sails on August 1st, I'll be totally shocked. I hate to say this, folks. I am not really expecting a cruise ship to go this year. I think the year is done. And please, I hope beyond all hope that you guys can yell at me that I'm totally wrong and that I'm totally off base and tell me to go to hell. That's great. I hope it happens. I don't think it's going to. Look at what these cruise ships have done. There's on my website and down in the description of this video, there's a link to my website, F&C Travel, the main page of the website. Scroll down to Princess. What are Princess cruise ships doing? It's a video from Princess, and it's also on the Chili Cruises Facebook page. Okay, I posted a video from Princess yesterday, which is one of their spokespeople. I don't know if he's the cruise director or one of the spokespeople, and Captain McBain talking about where are the Princess cruise ships right now. Now, this is what just Princess is doing. And we're not talking about Holland American. We're not talking about Carnival. We're not talking about anybody else. The Regal Princess is taking people to Europe. The Crown Princess is taking people to South Africa and the Philippines. The Island Princess is going to South Africa and Philippines. They're taking crew members back home, folks. Taking them home. The Caribbean Princess is going to the Caribbean and South America. The Golden Princess to Malaysia. Sky Princess to Europe. Emerald Princess to Asia. And the Coral Princess is taking care of U.S. passengers and Canadian passengers. Now, that's just Princess getting their crew members home. Now, before they can start sailing again, Those crew members got to be able to travel back to get back on the ships. They're doing it this way because the CDC won't let them disembark the crew members anywhere in the United States. And then there's no flights anyplace. That's just what Princess has done. Norwegian's done the same thing. Of course, there was another stink with Norwegian yesterday. The Encore. Some of the folks on the Encore are upset because they're in these huge walls of people. There's no social distancing. They're making them sleep 2 to a room. These are crew members now on the Encore, and they're scared to death because of the possible health situations on board the Encore. So, and that's trying to get them home. So that's caused a big to-do with the crew members on board that have made it public now that they're basically afraid to stay on there. And they're saying that Norwegian is doing nothing to protect them. And from some of the pictures, I can see why they might be saying that. I mean, that's obviously there's no social distancing in that picture that they took up on deck night before last. And then, I had that story last week. I mean, I sided with Norwegian over the doctor dying because I couldn't find any proof that he ended up dying of COVID-19 or had any signs of it. But they're coming back with the same thing, that they're just not feeling safe on the ships. Well, I can see why. Royal Caribbean's doing the same thing. They've got the Anthem of the Seas and one of the other one that's taking crew members home. I mean, all the cruise lines are doing is they're getting the crew members home. They're not going to be doing that if they're going to be sailing anytime soon. Well, admittedly, August is not anytime soon. But it is still, you think they'd go through this expense if they thought they could sail August the 1st? I don't think so. Norwegian had one other thing that was interesting yesterday. There's 3 Norwegian ships in Norfolk. Now, my friend Tom Henry, I haven't been over and checked out any of the comments yet, folks. I'll get to that in a minute. But this is down there right kind of in Tom's backyard. 3 of the Norwegian ships are parked at Norfolk. They put them in there to sit a spell. The Bliss, the Norwegian Spirit, and the Encore are now in Norfolk to sit out this whole episode of sitting and waiting. So that's right in Tom's backyard. He's just about an hour away from that. I wouldn't be surprised if he ends up with some pictures help. And like I say, folks, I hope to goodness that I am still alive. I don't know if that's the case or not. Don't believe the Virginia info. We are not testing enough. Yeah, I agree with that, Tom. It's good. The testing's got to go higher. I think you're never going to get rid of the virus entirely, and not everyone will get a vaccine. They don't now for the flu. Personally, I think CDC never wants cruise ships to sail again. You know, that's an awfully good point. The CDC is definitely going against the cruise lines. And Bonnie just told me that I froze up on YouTube. Yes, Bonnie, I know that, and I don't know what to do about it. I'm going to be getting off here shortly. So I'll let her know that I did hear that. Let's see what else we got on down here. Based on my trip yesterday, a lot of traffic cases will be going up. I think that's true, Tom. They're just going to keep going. Jason popped in. Hey, Jason, if you guys are back on YouTube, I know I froze up for a couple minutes. I hope it came back. So everybody, I will get the video up, and I'll edit out the garbage from it dying. Tom Henry says, we spent our retirement on cruising. I can cruise, catch the virus, then not need retirement. Yeah, unfortunately, Tom, that's about the truth. Chili's been too close to Bruce, socially distanced Chili. Oh, what did Tom did? I wasn't with on Bruce last night. I didn't check him out. So I don't know. Did he go off on Carnival? I don't know. I didn't hear Bruce yesterday. By last night, I was knocked out. Tom Henry says, I'm depressed enough, need some sunshine from YouTubers. Guess I'll go visit CTTV next. Well, sorry, Tom. I hate to be a bummer. You know, guys, I'm a cruise guy, but I just don't see it. I really don't. I don't like the way the cruise lines have been handling this. Goodness knows I don't like what CDC has done. But you know, I think we're in for the long haul here, folks, before we're going to get going again. Whoops, no Chili. Rest in peace. Ha ha. Everybody says So I did go off. I'm positive no problem if my RCCL cancels in July. I'll take the refund. Maybe his jaw gave out. Yeah. I hope I'm back live. I wonder if Chili knows he's back. Okay. Yeah. So I did get back on. That's good to know, guys. I'm just now getting down to the comments where you guys came back. So I have that was my fault. And I was trying to switch things and still run my mouth at the same time. And, you know, that never works very well. And Pete did say that I was frozen on YouTube. I mean, on Facebook as well. So, yeah, sorry about that, folks. That one was probably totally my fault. The other couple things that I do want to mention today, since I know that I'm back live now, Holland America is offering a Save Now, Cruise Later sale. If you book something, I think it's through the month. No, the offer ends July 31st. From now to July 31st, you can get free drink packages, gratuity, specialty dining packages, Wi-Fi, reduced deposits, and that's on cruises through 2022 with Holland America. If you book between now and July 31st. And the other one is Royal Caribbean. They're running a thing for the month of May. that if they're offering 30% off on every cruise to go along with kids sale for free. So a couple deals that came out yesterday to go along with the news of Carnival sailing again. And again, folks, I hope I am totally wrong about this. I hope you guys can tell me to go to hell as soon as it's proven that I'm wrong. So that's my thinking about today. Okay, I'll be back in a second. I forgot to do my commercial, so I got to get a word in from Scoot Around. Do you have a bad back, bad hips, bad knees, or any other mobility issues? Think about Scoot Around. For scooters, walkers, wheelchairs, even oxygen needs, delivered right to your cabin. Scoot Around for all your mobility needs on your upcoming cruise. Okay, now I feel better. All right, sorry about the rant, folks. I just, I don't, as much as I like to see cruising going, I hope what Carnival says is correct, but I just don't see it. I just don't think society as a whole is going to be ready for that yet. So Bonnie says Bruce hasn't been on a cruise in several years. Not an expert. He knows more about Grand Cayman. Yeah, he used to live in Grand Cayman. I don't even know if he's aware of the fact that they're shut down until November. I wasn't. I found that out looking at resorts things. So anyway, one other thing before I call this a day. We got to take care of the important stuff. And that is, they're talking about these killer hornets now. What are murder hornets and how much toilet paper do we need to buy? That's the question of the day. What the hell are the hornets? And then how much toilet paper do I have to buy because of that? So that's just it for today. You guys all have a great Cinco de Mayo. Go out and bring home some Mexican food tonight. And if you guys want to drink tequila, go for it. I'll have a little bourbon later on. That's it for today. This is Chili, the Fat Travel Guy. You guys have a great day. I'll see you on Thursday.
Thank you for watching today's Travel and Cruise Industry News. Join us every Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday morning at 11 a.m. Eastern for another episode. Travel and Cruise Industry News is a production of Chili's Cruises.